Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Mahan Field in Natick, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity baseball contest between the hosting Red Hawks of Natick High School and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. This should be a fun one. It always is between these two Bay State Conference rivals. I always say, no matter what the sport, do not sleep on a Brookline-Natick contest, because you know these two schools are always going to put on a show when they face each other. Brookline coming into this one riding high off a thrilling comeback walk-off victory on Saturday against another Bay State Conference opponent in Framingham. They won that one 5-4 off a walk-off single in the bottom of the seventh by freshman Hugh Bollinger, who was making his high school baseball debut and who also pitched 4 shutout innings of relief to get the win on the mound at the same time. Brookline at one point trailed 4-0 in that game, but managed to make the comeback. So 2-1 is Brookline's win-loss record coming into this one. And you know they are raring to go here in Natick. Remember, folks, as always, if you end up enjoying this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. I got no games on the docket tomorrow because Natick had to move a lot of their games that were originally scheduled for Tuesday to Monday, and a lot of Brookline teams were playing Natick in this early part of the week. So the volleyball and girls lacrosse and boys lacrosse games that were all going to be played on Tuesday are now being played today, and unfortunately I still haven't mastered the technology to make me be in 5 places at once. So unfortunately, of all those Brookline Natick games, this is the only one I'm able to cover, but I imagine this one should still be pretty good. And while I won't have any games on the docket tomorrow, I will be back covering this team again on Wednesday when Brookline hosts Needham, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel can help. And then, of course, as always, I encourage audience participation throughout the live stream. So if there is anything you'd like to say, I encourage you to say it in the live chat or to send me an email if you're not comfortable with YouTube's live chat system. You know, it could be a message as simple as "Go Brookline" or "Go Framingham." You know, no matter go Framingham, boy. Well, hopefully that's my only brain fart today. It could be a message as simple as "Go Brookline" or "Go Natick," no matter who it is you're rooting for. We appreciate you bringing the good vibes and showing support for your team in the live chat. Although if you do say "Go Framingham," then you are going to sound as dumb as I just sounded right there. So that's just a heads-up warning. And then, of course, if you want to give a shout-out to any specific players, maybe you're tuning in to support a family member or a friend, or maybe you want to celebrate a great play that someone just made, you can give someone a specific shout-out. Maybe you want to let us know where you're tuning in from or what your view of the eclipse was like today or something like that. You know, it's always fun with these online live streams that can be watched all over the world to hear about the different places people get to tune in from. You know, different states, occasionally to even different countries. Can be such a fun experience to hear that. And then on a more important side, if you notice any technical difficulties going on with the stream, the Wi-Fi was a little shaky before we got this one started, and it looks like we've dropped a few frames over the course of this stream so far, just a few. But, you know, if you notice anything going haywire with the video of this stream, be sure to say something in the live chat or an email. Same thing with the audio. You know, sometimes, you know, my audio interface or my headset decides I'm gonna, you know, be funny and mess up the audio today. And sometimes I don't notice it because sometimes my headset's not not giving me the same audio input that you guys are getting on the stream for whatever reason. So if there's anything wrong, be sure to speak up and say something. You never know, it may be something I don't notice, and it may be something that's an easy fix. And then, of course, if I am pronouncing any players' names wrong, I encourage you to speak up and say something, again, either in the live chat or in email. You know, I want to give these young men the best coverage I possibly can, and I mean these young men on both teams. I want to give them the best coverage I can, and to me, part of that does mean getting their names right. And on that note, well, first we've got our first note in the live chat already from one of our regulars, Barbara Jo Metzger, sending her Go Warriors message from Buffalo, New York. Happy to see you again tuning in, Barbara. Hope you enjoy the game. And on that note, let's get the starting lineups for the teams coming into today. We'll start with the visitors, who will be coming to bat first in the top of the first inning. And you can see them warming up in the field right now, the Brookline High Warriors. Leading off for Brookline today, the second baseman, number 5, Keenan Sawada. Batting second, the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doktoroff. Batting third, the first baseman, number 9, Elias Brendel. Batting cleanup, the center fielder, number 14, Harrison Siegel. Batting fifth, the shortstop, number 13, Felix Ham. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 17, Avery Melton. Batting seventh and starting on the mound for Brookline today, number 11, Nico Hart. Batting eighth and making his varsity debut today, the designated hitter, number 23, Jonathan Mazzara. And batting ninth, the left fielder, number 15, Owen Hoffman. Just playing the field in the starting lineup today, the right fielder, number 18, Ben Rosenblatt. So that's the starting lineup for Brookline today. Now let's give the starting lineup for the hosts today, the Redhawks of Natick High. Leading off for Natick and starting on the mound as well for the Redhawks, number 2, Robert Farr. Batting second, the right fielder, number 21, Braden Homer. Batting third, the left fielder, number 15, Jack Wireman. Batting cleanup, the center fielder, number 14, Jack Byrne. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 17, James Bianchi. Batting sixth, the first baseman, number 18, Matthew Schultz. Batting seventh, the third baseman, number 35, Gavin Weddle. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 13, Kyle Koblenzer. And batting ninth, the shortstop, number 8, Cam Gobale. And the head coaches of these two teams for Natick, the head coach of the baseball team is Jason Hoy. And for Brookline, their head baseball coach is Brendan O'Connor. So those are our two starting lineups, and yeah, it looks like the Wi-Fi is going to be a little funky today, so I apologize in advance. There's not another network that I'm aware of that I can connect to out here at Mahan Field other than my phone's hotspot. And it's been dropping a few frames. Looks like we've dropped about 3.6% of our frames so far since I started this stream. So it might be a little shaky, but, you know, if anything, goes foobar during like an important play or something, as always, I am recording this while I am live streaming it, so I'll have a recording of everything without any of the Wi-Fi induced technical difficulties. And if we end up cutting out during some important parts, I'll be sure to upload a fully recorded version later. So, that's another good reason to speak up in the live chat or in an email. If the live stream goes wonky during a big play, and you notice that, you can scream in the live chat, Jesse, the thing messed up during that big play just now. And I'll be like, okay, I'll upload the recorded version later tonight. But, potential Wi-Fi shenanigans aside, what a beautiful day for baseball this is. I mean, after the miserable weather we had last week, and also, the weather's apparently not going to be that great the rest of the week. I'm so grateful to actually have a beautiful day for baseball after how cold and wet and miserable past couple of games have been. I'll take a nice day, and I'll be grateful for it. Those of you with the more observant eyes might notice that number 16, Adam Rosenblatt, is out there warming up in the field. He's not in the starting lineup for Brookline today, but he's looking much better after injuring, I believe it was his thumb and his toe when he crashed into a fence in the game at Waltham. And of course, the other player who left that game injured after crashing into the fence was Elias Brendel, but he ended up playing in the next game and having a doozy of a game against Framingham on Saturday. 2 for 3 with a run scored, 2 RBI. Some strong play at first base, and pitched 3 innings as a starter, although he was taken off the mound with a 4-0 deficit. So now the PA announcer is taking over here at Mahan Field, so we'll soon be getting this one started. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and you are watching Brookline High Baseball. That's in there, strike 3. Engelman puts him down in order. This one lifted out to left. It's caught! Harrison Siegel with the sliding grab. Hits it! He wins it! Hugh Bollinger! Welcome to the Warriors! Brookline wins! All right, PA announcer just gave our starting lineups and a few corrections on some pronunciations. For Natick, the left fielder, number 15, is pronounced Jack Weirman. The catcher, number 17, is pronounced James Bianchi. And the shortstop, number 8, is pronounced Cam Gobeil. I also heard an interesting pronunciation of one of the Brookline players. He said Brookline's shortstop, number 13, is pronounced Felix Hom. I'd never considered it being pronounced that way. I don't know if I've been pronouncing it wrong. If there's any friends or family members or family friends or anything like that who are tuning in today and want to confirm or deny the pronunciation of Felix's last name, like I said, one of the things I want to do when I cover these games is I want to get the fellas' names right. Give them the proper credit they deserve. Darn it. Oh, no. Come back. Come back. Wi-Fi is going a little scrape, but I think it's about to recover. Yes, there it is. Okay. So, fingers crossed as the national anthem coming up. All right, that was our national anthem. We'll soon be getting our first pitch of the ball game, and we got some confirmation on pronunciation from Paul Hom in the live chat, saying yes, it is pronounced Hom. It's the German pronunciation. Thank you so much, Paul, for helping correct me on that. I imagine I'm going to be calling plenty more highlight-worthy plays through the rest of Felix's high school baseball career, so happy to be getting his name right from here on out. So it'll be the top of the lineup starting us off here in the top of the first. For Brookline, Sawada, Doctoroff, and Brendel due up to face Robert Farr. Now last year, Natick, really last couple years, Natick's had some very lethal pitchers, and specifically some very lethal southpaw pitchers. I believe the name of the one that was so dominant against Brookline last year was Charles Collins. Very hard-throwing left-hander that basically took away Brookline's ability to steal because of having such a strong pickoff move at first. But now a righty on the mound, so we'll see how effective Brookline can be on the base paths in this game. All right. We got our first batter stepping into the box for Brookline, the second baseman, number 5, Keenan Sawada. You can see Sawada's stats for the season thus far on the bottom of your screen. 1 for 7 with 4 walks, 1 steal, and 1 run scored. First pitch is going to miss for ball 1. That almost looked like it was going to graze him, and he was going to get a leadoff hit by pitch, but instead a 1-0 count. That one catches the high part of the zone, strike 1. Swing and a miss there, strike 2. After that first pitch came close inside for the ball, it looked like Farr went more to the outside on that one for strike 2. And contact from Sawada out to left fielder tracking it, and he's got it for out number 1. Catch made by Jack Weirman. And that's 1 down. Now batting, the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doktoroff. First pitch catches the zone, strike 1. Doktoroff so far this year 1 for 9 with no free passes and yet a team leading 4 steals and 1 run scored. That one just misses outside, ball 1. Farr painting those inside and outside corners early in this one. That time hits the corner, strike 2. Went back to a very similar spot, it looked like, but managed to get it in the zone that time. 1-2 the count. That one just misses, ball 2. Might have been a little high, maybe a little outside. And that one misses as well, ball 3. A full count now to Doktoroff. Hits a grounder over to third, juggled by the third baseman, but he recovers, throws to first, and just beats Doktoroff to the bag for out number 2. Gavin Weddle making that play. As you saw initially, the ball took a weird hop and he juggled it, but he was able to snag it in his bare hand to make the throw to first. Now batting the first baseman, number 9, Elias Brendel, and he gets hit. First pitch, and Brendel takes it in the foot. And now batting, the only other Brookline player so far this season to get a hit by pitch, the center fielder, number 14, Harrison Siegel. There's a throw back to first. Siegel so far this season 2 for 6, 4 walks, 1 hit by pitch, 1 steal, 1 run, and 1 RBI. As he takes ball 1 inside. That one hits the high corner, strike one. Throw back to first again. Two and one the count. That one missed high. They try and go for a throw to first again, and again Brendel dives back safe. 3 and 1 the count now to Siegel. And there's a free pass. Siegel draws his 5th walk of the year. And now with 2 down and 2 runners on, up comes the shortstop, number 13, Felix Hom. First pitch, and he laces it out to left. That drops fair. It is a foul ball. Almost a huge hit there. Of course, Hom had, well, first of all, he had the leadoff single that started that 7th inning rally that won the game on Saturday, but he also had a big 2-run single in the season opener against Newton South, the team's only base hit, but also the only one they needed as they won that game 3-1. And he hits this one. It's off the glove, and the third baseman can't pick it up, and everyone reaches safely. Bit of a lucky break there as that popped out of Weddle's glove in what looked to be an inning-ending lineout. Instead, the inning continues here in the top of the first, and with the bases loaded and 2 outs, up comes the catcher, number 17, Avery Melton. That one inside, ball 1. You know, I mentioned that 7th inning rally on Saturday. Melton got an infield single to load the bases in that inning. Let's see what he does here as he takes a low ball 2. Farr's got to be careful. With the bases loaded, a free pass means a run. That one catches the high corner, strike 1. That one misses, ball 3. Brookline has already gotten 2 of their 8 runs so far this season on bases loaded walks. Could we see another one here? The 3-1 pitch coming. Catches the high corner, strike 2. Full count, 2 outs, bases loaded here in the top of the first. How about this? And Melton with a defensive swing gets jammed on the inside corner and fouls it out of play. He stays alive with a full count. And another defensive swing. He fouls it over the backstop and across the street. Stays alive. Count still full. Boy, you never know when the tense moments are going to come in a baseball game. It could just come in the top of the first. Outside, ball 4. And it is indeed another bases loaded walk for Brookline. As we take a quick look back at the replay of the bases loaded walk that brought in, as you can see, it missed outside. A good eye from Melton. Now batting the pitcher, number 11, Nico Hart, hoping to add to his own cause. Takes strike 1. Hart 0 for 3 so far this season, but did play a part in the comeback win against Framingham. as he hit a grounder that led to a run-scoring reach-on error. Fouls that one off for strike 2. So following that walk from Melton, a third of Brookline's runs so far this season have come from bases-loaded walks. And Hart lifts this one deep out to right. Right fielder chasing it, and he's got it for out number 3. Gave it a ride, but just hung in the air too long. But Brookline will be first on the board off a bases-loaded walk. Our score going to the bottom of the first, Brookline 1, Natick 0. Due up for Natick will be their first 3 hitters, Farr, Homer, and Weirman. As we take a look now at Nico Hart's pitching stats from last year, as this is the first time on stream that he's pitching. Last year he appeared in 5 games, started 3 of them, had a 1-1 win-loss record, pitched 19 1/3 innings through those 5 appearances, had an ERA of 3.26, a whip of 1.5, and 20 strikeouts. One of Brookline's more effective pitchers last year. And this year, he's already got a pitching win under his belt as he threw 3 2/3 shutout innings of relief in the season opener against Newton South last week. And since the starting pitcher did not pitch 4 innings that game, and Hart pitched the longest of the 2 relievers that day, he gets credited with the win. So we'll see what he's able to bring to the mound this time. Now leading off for Natick, the pitcher, number 2, Robert Farr. So literally we go from one pitcher versus pitcher matchup in the top of the first immediately into the reverse pitcher versus pitcher matchup in the bottom of the first. Nico Hart flew out to right in his first plate appearance against Farr. Now Farr with his first plate appearance against Hart. First pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Bit tough to see the batter from this angle because of where the first base coach is spotted, but that one bounces low, ball 2. That one hits the zone, strike 1. So a couple shaky pitches to start, but he hits the zone there and gets a check swing foul for strike 2. Two and two, the count to Farr. Curves in nicely, strike 3. I think Farr expected that pitch to drop a little lower than it did. You know, that's the tricky thing about a breaking ball is sometimes it breaks so much that you shouldn't swing at it, but sometimes it doesn't break enough to drop out of the zone and you should swing at it. This first pitch is a ball to the right fielder, number 21, Braden Homer. So Hart faces down the guy who got him to fly out. Now he's facing the guy who caught the fly out. That one inside, ball 2. Catches the inside corner that time, strike 1. And he hits a dribbler of the first base line, and that's foul. So a 2-2 count. We are seeing kind of a mirror of the first plate appearance. You know, a couple of ugly misses for balls. One thrown straight into the zone for strike 1, and then a foul ball for strike 2. If the pattern follows, then he'd get Homer looking on this pitch, but we'll see. Not this time. Bounces in the dirt. Ball 3. So a full count to Homer. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Brookline up 1-0 on Natick. Catches him swinging low. Strike 3. It did hit the dirt, so Melton's got to throw to first, and he does. Back-to-back strikeouts to start for Nico Hart. And you can tell the movement on his breaking balls really having an impact on the Natick hitters early in this one. You got the breaking ball that didn't break enough and stayed in the zone, and then you got the breaking ball that broke too far down and caught the hitter chasing. And again, he works that lower part of the plate as that one skips in for ball 1. At the plate for Natick now, the left fielder, number 15, Jack Weirman. Fouls that one off, strike 1. Hits a hard one up the middle, sliding snag by Sawada. Throw to first is taken off the skip by Brendel, and the 4-3 ground out ends the inning. Boy, it's got to be such a great confidence booster for a pitcher to see your infielder make a nice play on a hard hit ball and almost make it look routine. I mean, almost routine. But when you've got a strong infielder like Keenan Sawada behind you, you know, you can have some faith that even on a hard hit grounder, he'll have your back. Natick goes down in order in the bottom of the first, 2 strikeouts and a ground out. And now for Brookline, it'll be the 8-9-1 hitters, Mazzara, Hoffman, and Sawada, coming up in the top of the second. Robert Farr back on the mound for a second inning of work for Natick after a bit of a shaky start in that first inning. Brookline with no base hits in the top of the first unless they end up scoring that dropped ball by the third baseman as a base hit for Hom. My guess is it's an E5, and assuming it is, there were no base hits there. But they still got a run across off 2 walks, a hit by pitch, and an E5. Leading off for Brookline, making his first varsity plate appearance, the designated hitter, number 23, Jonathan Mazzara, with a liner past the first baseman into right. The first pitch he sees in his varsity career, and he laces it into right for a leadoff single. Boy, we're getting some electric debut games these past couple of games. Now at the plate for Brookline, the left fielder, number 15, Owen Hoffman, swing and got a piece of it for a foul ball. Hoffman so far this season 0 for 8, but does have 3 walks and a run scored. Throw back to first to check on Mazzara. And that one's going to be low for ball 1. We've seen a number of throws back to first, and while Farr may not be a lefty pitcher, he does have a lefty first baseman who can make a swifter tagging motion with the glove on his right hand. That one catches the outside corner, strike 2. Farr going back to painting it inside and outside, and he's got a 1-2 count to Hoffman. Hoffman lifts one. That's going to be foul in right field. And he stays alive at a 1-2 count. Catches the corner, strike 3. Hoffman down on strikes, 1 out in the inning, and we cycle back around to the top of the order with second baseman number 5, Keenan Sawada. First pitch misses, might have been high, ball 1. Another throw back to first. Mazzara dives back safely. Brookline hasn't attempted a steal yet today. But we'll see what happens as the game goes. That one inside, ball 2. Sawada lifts one high into center field. Center fielder racing in for it, and he's got it for out number 2. So 2 down now. Now up the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doctoroff. Doctoroff almost had the luck of a reach-on error last time as he bunts this one foul, trying to sneak one past the Red Hawks defense. Doctoroff is a speedy guy on the base paths. He does lead the team in steals so far, so they got to be careful of that. As he slices this one foul, strike 2. I think that one might have hit an electrical pole. Strong enough pole that it can take a hit from a baseball. 0-2 the count. Mazzara takes off, pitches high for a ball. Mazzara slides, safe. Jonathan Mazzara with his first hit and now his first steal. A runner now in scoring position for Doctoroff as he stares down a 1-2 count. That one drops low, ball 2. And late swing, fouls it off, out of play. Just misses a car parked along West Street out here. And Doctoroff stays alive at 2-2. And again, a little behind the pitch, and he lifts that one out of play down the right field side. Doctoroff swinging very defensively here with 2 strikes, and it's got him behind some of these pitches. That one comes in low, ball 3. Full count now to Doctoroff. And he makes contact here, a hopper to third, fielded well by the third baseman, but the throw got away because Mazzara was running to third. Doctoroff reaches on the E5. And again, Brookline's innings stays alive off of an error. Now batting the first baseman, number 9, Elias Brendel. And it looks like Coach Jason Hoy is going to try and appeal maybe for a runner interference call. I mean, it was very borderline because there's no question that Mazzara running across the third baseman's field of view interfered with his throwing motion as he was trying to throw around him. But at the same time, it's not like Mazzara was running particularly out of the way to try and get the way of the third baseman. He was just running on the natural path to third. So looks like the appeal's been denied, not runner interference. And so it'll be runners at first and third with 2 down in the top of the second. Don't be surprised if we see Doctoroff take off for second. See if they can pull the defender's attention away from Mazzara at third. First pitch, and Brendel hits a rocket deep out to left center. They're on their horse, chasing after it, just out of reach. This will bring in 2. Doctoroff's racing around third. Brendel into second. 2 runs come in for the Warriors. Elias Brendel with a rocket of a hit. And once again, my replay buffer not long enough. First pitch to Harrison Siegel in the dirt, and Brendel is going to take off for third on the wild pitch. Elias Brendel adding 2 more RBI to his mark on the season with that huge 2-run double to deep left center. Siegel swings and misses at that one. That one is low for ball 2. That one catches the corner, strike 2. And slices that one foul, stays alive at 2-2. 2 down, Brendel at third here in the top of the second. And that hit him. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Harrison Siegel is such a hit-by-pitch magnet that it's almost a running joke at this point. What did he get hit like 8 times last season, and now he's gotten hit twice this year? That is just hilarious. Now up the shortstop, number 13, Felix Hamm. First pitch, Hom hits a liner past the shortstop into center. In comes Brendel. Brookline's got 4, and Felix Hom can add another RBI to his mark. Mark that the 3rd RBI of the season for Felix Hom after he had 2 in the season opener last Monday. Column Magic Mondays for Felix Hom. He's got all 3 of his RBIs hit on Mondays. First pitch to Melton, inside ball 1. The catcher, number 17, Avery Melton, got the bases loaded walk to drive in Brookline's first run his last time up. Now up with 2 on and 2 out as he takes a low ball 2. That one catches the zone, strike 1. What an explosive inning this has been for Brookline. Tied for their highest scoring single inning of the season so far. Their first extra base hit of the year on that double by Brendel. And I think the most base hits in a single inning for this team so far this year as Melton takes ball 3. As Brookline's had 3 base hits. The leadoff single by Mazzara, the 2-run double by Brendel, and the RBI single by Hom right there. Melton slices this one foul, full count. So for the second straight inning, Avery Melton with a full count, 2 down, and at least 2 runners on. Runners taking off as Melton slices that one and stays alive. That's the thing, full count, 2 outs. Runners are just going to go on the pitch. As Melton slices another one foul. That one just missed outside. Avery Melton with nerves of steel staring down that close pitch to earn the free pass, his second of the day. And now once again, the pitcher, number 11, Nico Hart, up with the bases loaded. That one comes in at his ankles, ball 1. Hart hit a long fly ball his last time up, but it was within the range of the right fielder for the 3rd out of the first inning. Now once again up with the bases loaded and 2 down. Hits a grounder up the middle, chased down by the shortstop, but he can't get it to anyone. Nico Hart with the RBI infield single. And Brookline has officially batted around as backup for his second plate appearance of his varsity career, the designated hitter, number 23, Jonathan Mazzara, as he takes the first pitch for strike 1. So obviously we'll have to see how Game Changer scored that one. I think you can score an infield hit for Hart, as Mazzara swings and misses at that one, in which case that'll be Hart's first base hit and first RBI of the year, as Siegel comes in to score, putting Brookline up 5. And swing and a miss. Mazzara starts and finishes the inning. And we move to the bottom of the second with Brookline coming off its most offensively productive inning of the season thus far. 4 runs off the back of 4 base hits a walk, a hit by pitch, and 1 reach-on error. And boy, what a number of firsts for that inning. Jonathan Mazzara, his first varsity plate appearance, first varsity hit, first varsity steal, first varsity run scored. Elias Brendel with his first extra base hit of the season, the team's first extra base hit of the season. Felix Hom with his second RBI hit to come on a Monday, as all of his RBI hits have come on Mondays so far. Harrison Siegel with his team-leading second hit by pitch after he led the team in hit by pitches by a wide margin last year. Avery Melton with his second consecutive walk. Nico Hart with his first hit of the season and first RBI of the season. Did you get all that? It was a fun inning, wasn't it? I certainly had fun. It'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters coming up to face Hart. Byrne, Bianchi, and Schultz. Sorry about all the nose blowing, folks. With the beautiful spring days does come a lot of pollen. First pitch is in there, strike 1. At the plate for Natick is the center fielder, number 14, Jack Byrne. And that's another one, strike 2. That one low for ball 1. Interesting to note the difference in psyche you can have as a pitcher when you're up by this many runs. This is the biggest lead Brookline has had so far this season. As that one misses ball 2. You know, you can pitch with a certain amount of confidence knowing you've got a bit of a cushion to work with. That one just a bit outside, ball 3. That one's going to miss, and Byrne patiently works his way to a leadoff walk. First base runner for the Red Hawks. Now coming up, the catcher, number 17, James Bianchi. First pitch in there, strike 1. Hart's almost had a reversal of how his first 2 batters went in the first inning. In the first inning, both of the first 2 batters saw 2 balls to open their plate appearances. This one's a grounder over to third, fielded, thrown to second, in time, onto first, in time, double play. 5-4-3, the double play. And just like that, 2 down. Let's check out the replay. Fielded well by Doctoroff, thrown to second just in time. Quick turn by Sawada. Oh, darn, I think I missed the first pitch to Schultz. I'm still, working out the kinks with the replay system for baseball. It's been a little trickier than it's been in other sports. 2 down. I believe the count is 2-0. Here to Schultz as he fouls this one off for what I believe is strike 1. No, I was wrong. In fact, it is 1-2 as the ump just confirmed. To the first baseman, number 18, Matthew Schultz. That one skips in the dirt. Ball 2. Catches the inside corner, strike 3. Nico Hart again cruises through the inning, finishing the business in 3 batters. And through 2, Brookline leads Natick 5-0. And it'll be the 9-1-2 hitters coming up for Brookline: Hoffman, Sawada, and Doctoroff. We got a few more notes in the live chat I'm going to catch up on here. All of them from Paul Hom. I see he likes me talking about how Harrison Siegel is a hit-by-pitch magnet. I mean, I don't know what it is. I've joked with him about it, and he's absolutely baffled by it. And then Paul also pointing out that while the last name Hom sounds like a German pronunciation, actually it's Korean. You know, that's kind of the funny thing is English pronounces vowels like so differently from most other languages, it feels like. I mean, I'm no linguistics professor or anything, so I haven't done the legwork to confirm that, but it certainly feels like it, because that also feels like it could be like the Spanish pronunciation, or some other European languages as well. I mean, granted, if it were Spanish, then it'd be a silent H, and it'd be like but anyway, after that fun with linguistics, we start the top of the third. Leading off, the left fielder, Owen Hoffman, lines it right at the shortstop for out number 1. Nice grab by Cam Gobiel at short for the first out of the inning. Now batting the second baseman, number 5, Keenan Sawada. First pitch high, ball 1. Sawada 0 for 2 so far today. He's flown out to left and flown out to center. That one comes in inside, ball 2. That one low, ball 3. Three and 0 the count. That one hits the zone, strike 1. And reaches low and sends this one out to right for a single. He went to left field with his first at bat for an out. Went to center field in his second at bat for an out. This time he goes to right, and right was the charm. Sawada with a 1-out single. Now up the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doctoroff. First pitch high, ball 1. And Natick is going to be cautious of Sawada on the base paths. He led Brookline in steals last year as they make their first attempt at a pickoff. And because of that, you can also expect a certain amount of the pitches to Doctoroff to be high pitches, because they want to have a shorter distance for the catcher to spring up to try and make the throw to second. Sawada takes off, pitches in for a ball, throw down to second. Sawada slides in safe. Actually, sort of blocked that low bouncing throw, but that just shows how well he had beaten the throw. 2-0 the count to Doctoroff now with a runner in scoring position. And Doctoroff hits one right at the second baseman, and they say he caught it out of the air. And so Sawada went back to second. I was very close to being taken off the bounce, but they say that the second baseman, Kyle Koblenzer, made a nice shoestring catch there for out number 2. Now 2 down runner at second, and up is the first baseman, number 9, Elias Brendel. Brendel 1 for 1 so far today with a double, a hit by pitch, 2 runs, and 2 RBI as he takes ball 1 high. So Brendel has played a part in 4 of Brookline's 5 runs scored so far today. What an explosive start to the season he's having as he fouls that one for strike 1. I mean, Brendel already came in today with 2 runs and 2 RBI, so he has doubled both marks. Now hoping he can add to it here. Skies it. This one looks like it's going to be too high. Outfielders tracking it. Caught by the center fielder for out number 3. So Brookline gets a runner to second, but no further. We move to the bottom of the third. Score still Brookline 5, Natick 0. Due up for Natick will be the 7, 8, 9 hitters. It is wild. Brookline's hitters, their first 3 hitters have already had 3 plate appearances. And for Natick, this inning will finally complete their first turn through the order. Shows how strong Brookline has been playing on both offense and defense so far today. Starting us off in the bottom of the third for Natick, the third baseman, number 35, Gavin Weddle. Slice the first pitch, strike 1. Ooh, that one grazed him in the elbow. Oh, and the ump took a shot from it. Ooh, that one's got a sting. Is it possible for a pitcher to be credited with 2 hit by pitches off 1 pitch? Because I think that's what just happened to Nico Hart. That pitch grazed off of Gavin Weddle's elbow, or it bounced off his elbow, and then I think it got the ump. I hope it was in the stomach, because if it was lower than that, oh, I don't want to consider that. But either way, Weddle does get a free pass to first. as that is just the second hit by pitch from the Brookline pitchers so far this inning. Or not this inning, so far this inning. Well, yeah, I guess. But second hit by pitch for the team so far this season, as Charlie Engelman had a hit by pitch in the season opener against Newton South. First pitch to Koblenzer is lifted high, in play in foul territory. Elton tracks it and has the catch for out number one. And while almost every infielder was chasing after that one, Sawada stayed back at second to make sure that Weddle didn't sneak over to second base on the tag. One down, now up the shortstop, number 8, Cam Gobeil. First pitch, sliced foul. That one is low, ball one. And that one is strike two. Hart checks on the runner. That pitch low. Melton tried to frame it, but the ump wasn't going to be fooled on that one. That's a low ball two. That one drops just low. Ball three. You could tell Gobeil was thinking about it. You know, and after Hart fooled Homer in the first inning with a breaking ball that didn't break that far, you can understand Gobeil thinking about it. But that one catches the corner, strike three. 4 Ks so far today for Nico Hart, and now we cycle back to the top of the order for Natick with the pitcher, number 2, Robert Farr. Throw back to first, but Weddle dives back safely. Yeah, a pickoff or a caught stealing is about the only thing at this point that can prevent an actual full second plate appearance for Farr. This pitch sliced foul, strike one. This one rocketed out to right center. Siegel on his horse, not going to get there. That's going to go all the way to the wall for extra bases. Weddle's coming around third, heading for home. And Farr is going to hold at second with an RBI double that puts Natick on the board. Powerful shot to right center by Robert Farr. Breaks the shutout for Brookline and continues this bottom of the third inning. Now batting the right fielder, number 21, Braden Homer. First pitch, he lifts it out to left, foul territory, and no, it dropped fair. That dropped inside the fair line. And Braden Homer has got a RBI single as he brings in Farr. So back-to-back 2-out RBI hits for the Red Hawks. And now up the left fielder, number 15, Jack Weirman. Throw back to first was close, but Homer gets back. You can see he's taking a daring lead off of first base. First pitch catches the low corner, strike one to Weirman. Weirman, his last time up, grounded out to second. Now up with 2 outs and a runner on first. And he laces one out to left over Hoffman's head and stays in play. Not a ground rule double. And so in comes Homer. An RBI double for Jack Weirman, and Natick is rallying back. Three straight RBI hits with 2 down here in the bottom of the third. Tough sequence for Nico Hart, and now a meeting with the entire infield. With how sudden this rally has shifted the momentum of things, there hasn't really been time for Brookline to get a reliever to warm up. And there's no action in the bullpen yet, so for now, they're going to stick with Hart. I wouldn't be surprised if they sent someone to start warming up in the bullpen. But for now, they're sticking with their starter. As we move to the cleanup hitter, the center fielder, number 14, Jack Byrne. Tying run at the plate, runner at second, 2 down here in the bottom of the third. That first pitch misses, ball 1. That one a bit outside, ball 2. That one missed outside, ball 3. 3-0 hitters count to Byrne. Byrne did draw a walk his last time up. Is he going to draw another here? Not on that pitch. That's strike 1. And that one is going to miss high and outside for ball 4. Byrne, with his second walk of the day, does create a force at every base but home. Now batting, the catcher, number 17, James Bianchi. Bianchi grounded into a double play his last time up. First pitch misses, ball 1. That one catches the low corner, strike 1. Byrne, the potential tying run at first. Weirman at second. And that's a hard hit ball up the middle. It gets past Hom into center. And rounding third, heading for home. It's going to be close. And he gets around the tag safe. Weirman scores, and it's a 1-run ball game. Bianchi with an RBI hit to bring this to a 1-run game. It looks like Brookline is appealing the safe call at home briefly, but only oh so briefly. Weirman in to score on what I believe is an RBI single for Bianchi. It was very close to being fielded by Hom up the middle, but for now I'm scoring that a single. Courtesy runner coming in for Bianchi, the catcher. This is number 5, Caleb Gobeil. And now batting the first baseman, number 18, Matthew Schultz. 2 down, tying run at third. First pitch misses, ball 1. That pitch in the dirt, ball 2. That one outside, ball 3. Melton trying to keep his pitcher calm here in what has been a very difficult inning. That one catches the inside corner, strike 1. And now there's going to be some action in the bullpen for Brookline. Runner takes off, and this one is hit into foul territory and out of play. Strike 2. Full count to Schultz. 2 down, runners at the corners. Runner takes off. Schultz lifts one over the infield. We are tied. Matthew Schultz with a game-tying single. And we are knotted up at 5 apiece. Byrne comes in to score on that play. Runner is still at the corners with 2 down. As now we cycle back around to where the innings started with the third baseman, number 35, Gavin Weddle. This one fouled off, strike 2. Weddle led off this inning with a hit-by pitch and later came in to score Natick's first run on the RBI double by Robert Farr. Runner taking off for second, takes strike 3. And the inning finally comes to an end, but Natick has come all the way back and tied us up. I told you, when these two face off, you can always expect a show. And through 3 innings, what a show we've been given. All tied up here at Mahan Field. Brookline 5, Natick 5. So we've got one pitching change, at least as we start the fourth inning. We'll see if we have another pitching change in the bottom half of the inning. But for Natick, taking over on the mound will be number 35, Gavin Weddle. Meanwhile, Robert Farr leaves the mound. He moves to shortstop. And Cam Gobeil takes Weddle's former spot at third. So Farr finishes with 3 innings pitched, 5 runs allowed. But I think like none of them were actually earned, because all 5 runs were scored with the aid of an error. So 5 unearned runs credited to Robert Farr, and he leaves with a no decision as Brookline came back, or as Natick came back and tied it. Leading off for Brookline, the center fielder, number 14, Harrison Siegel. First pitch high, ball 1. Siegel so far today, he's drawn a walk and a hit by pitch. He is 0 for 0 with 1 run scored. As that one bounces in the dirt, ball 2. That one hits the zone, strike 1. It's going to be very interesting to see how the relievers handle this situation. It's always so interesting to see how relievers handle things at the high school level. That one in the zone, strike 2. And Siegel golfs this one out to left, or left center, I should say, as it's caught by the center fielder, Byrne, for out number 1. Now batting the shortstop, number 13, Felix Hom. Hom so far 1 for 2 with a single, a reach on error, and an RBI. Big swing and a miss there, strike 1. That one's low for ball 1. Hom gets a piece of it, but got kind of jammed inside as it goes foul up the third base side for strike 2. That one bounces in the dirt, ball 2. Got an interesting note in the live chat from Donnell O'Neill. I left for 20 minutes. What happened? Well, you see, what had happened was a very big rally by Natick in the bottom of the third. As that one inside, ball 3. Full count now to Felix Hom. And that's a high, ball 4. So a free pass to first for Felix Hom. Runner on first, now up the catcher, number 17, Avery Melton. And that one outside, ball 1. Melton 0 for 0 with 2 walks and an RBI so far today. That one in there, strike 1. That one in the zone as well, strike 2. One and two the count, one down, runner at first. Throw back to first, and Hum dives back safely. That one comes in low for ball 2. That one catches the corner, and Melton goes down on strikes. Weddle settling into his reliever role nicely so far. He's got 2 down in the top of the 4th. Now up the pitcher, number 11, Nico Hart. First one in the dirt for ball 1. Hum decides to hold at first. One of those situations where you really got to get the jump towards second if you want to take advantage of a pitch like that. And if you don't have the jump, it's just better to go back to first. That one outside, ball 2. Nico Hart, 1 for 2 so far today, with a flyout, a single, and an RBI. That one's going to miss as well, ball 3. Weddle trying to work the outside part of the plate against this lefty hitter. Hasn't been finding the zone so far. And Hart pops it up, going to stay in the infield. And Gobiel catches it for out number 3. Hart decided to swing on the 3-0 pitch, and it did not work out. Moving to the bottom of the 4th, the score, Brookline 5, Natick 5. During this break in the middle of the 4th inning, I'd like to take a moment to direct your attention to a helpful link in the description section of this video. At the very top of the description section, you can find a link to the official PayPal account for the At Bat for Brookline Booster Club. So if you would like to support the Brookline High baseball program financially, you can do so by donating to At Bat for Brookline. Brookline is sticking with their starter, Nico Hart, back out for his 4th inning of work. Despite a very rough 3rd inning. Brookline is going to send some guys out to the bullpen to warm up just in case Hart can't get back in the groove. A gutsy call, staying with Hart as long as they have, and we'll see if this pays off. Due up will be the 8-9-1 hitters, Koblenzer, Gobiel, and Farr. Leading off is the second baseman, number 13, Kyle Koblenzer. First pitch inside, ball 1. Koblenzer, his last time up, popped out to the second baseman for the first out of that big 3rd inning for Natick, as he takes strike 1 to the low corner there. And there's strike 2. And in fact, that pop out to the catcher is the only plate appearance Koblenzer has had up until now. That one low, ball 2. And gets him with the off-speed, strike 3. could tell how far out in front Koblenzer was on what I think was a pretty effective changeup there from Hart. Now batting, the third baseman, number 8, Cam Gobiel. First pitch in there, strike one. Gobiel struck out his last time up. Laces one past Doctoroff and into left. And that'll be a one-out single for Cam Gobiel. Now coming up, the shortstop, number 2, Robert Farr. Farr really got that big rally going last inning with an RBI double. Drove in Weddle for the game's first run. Then Homer drove in Farr. Then Weirman drove in Homer. Then 2 batters later, Bianchi drove in Weirman. And then Schultz drove in Byrne. Gets a piece of it, fouls it off. Timeout called by Farr. 0-1 the count. One down here in the bottom of the fourth. Pitch hits a hard grounder past Doctoroff and through the gap into left as it's juggled by Hoffman but recovered. And so Gobiel will just go back to second. Back-to-back hits from Gobiel and Farr. Put runners at first and second for the right fielder, number 21, Braden Homer. And Coach Brendan O'Connor coming out to talk to his starter. We'll see if this is the end of the day for Hart, or if they decide to stick with him. They are still sticking with him. They've got number 24, Sasho Ish, warming up in the bullpen. But for now, they are sticking with Hart. 1 out, 2 runners on as Homer steps into the box. And that's a wild pitch. And that's going to move both runners into scoring position. Runners now at second and third with 1 out, so inning-ending double play, a lot harder to get at this point. Homer hits a dribbler, or well, a harder grounder than a dribbler, I shouldn't have said that, but either way, foul up the first base side, strike one. That one just misses inside, ball 2. 2-1, the count to Homer. That one catches the high corner, strike 2. Homer 1 for 2 so far today, with a strikeout and an RBI hit. And there's strikeout number 2 to Homer. Big second out get for Hart, as that curveball stayed just in the zone. And now batting, the left fielder, number 15, Jack Weirman. Had a big RBI double his last time up. Fouls off the first pitch, strike 1. Runners at second and third, 2 down. Pitch in there, strike 2. 0-2 the count now to Weirman. Just outside, ball 1. Both sides holding their breath here. Strike 3. Nico Hart living up to his last name, showing so much heart after such a tough third inning, and then such a tough start to the fourth inning. Back-to-back one-out singles. A wild pitch puts them both in scoring position, and he registers back-to-back strikeouts in a situation where almost any ball in play could have brought in the go-ahead run. Through 4, we are still tied at 5. And at this break, at the end of the fourth inning, I'd like to take a moment for a local charity spotlight. I'd like to tell you about Brookline Cares. Brookline Cares is a volunteer organization run by BHS students which seeks to raise awareness and funds to help people experiencing homelessness. Brookline Cares works closely with an organization called the Empowerment Plan. The Empowerment Plan hires and trains those experiencing homelessness to manufacture their special type of coat known as the Empower Coat, which can double as a sleeping bag. The coats can help to keep those struggling with homelessness warm during the colder months, while the jobs manufacturing those coats can help break the cycle of homelessness through gainful employment. Over the past 3 years, Brookline Cares has purchased and distributed over 200 Empower coats and 1,000 pairs of Bombas socks to local community organizations and emergency departments that care for the homeless. And you can help them bring more warmth to those in need. In the description of this video, you'll find 2 links. The first link is to the website classy.org, where you can donate money to the Brookline Cares team, supporting their efforts to purchase more Empower coats. Or if you're a student interested in joining the organization, you can find another link, this time to the organization's website on wixsite.com, where you can find more information about the group and how you can contact them. Once again, check out those links in the description section below and help spread the warmth with Brookline Cares. First pitch, and Mazar hits a hard grounder over to short, picked up, thrown to first, and it'll be a 6-3 ground out to start us off. So with 1 out, now coming up the left fielder, number 15, Owen Hoffman. Gavin Weddle is back out for a second inning of relief after taking over for Farr in the 4th inning. That one misses, ball 1. Hoffman, his last time up, popped out to the lined out to the shortstop rather. Before that, struck out. Hits a hard grounder, but it's right back at Farr. Fields it cleanly, throws to first for out number 2. So back-to-back 6-3 groundouts. Now up the second baseman, number 5, Keenan Sawada. Sawada 1 for 3 so far, as he got a single back in the 3rd, stole second, but was left stranded. Shows bunt, but pulls back as he takes ball 1. Sawada is a speedy guy on the base paths. Got to watch out for the potential sneak bunt. Corner infielders pulled up towards the grass now in response. That one bounces in low, ball 2. That one hits the zone, strike 1. Sawada slices that one out of play. Got fooled and chased that one low and outside. But lucky that that pop-up floated out of play. 2-2, the count to Sawada, with 2 down and the base is empty here on the top of the 5th. That one skips in low, ball 3. And that is a free pass for Sawada, and he is running down to first, forcing the catcher to chase after that wild pitch. Because if he hadn't, Sawada was well within his rights to extend that walk down to second base. But Bianchi was paying attention, and so Sawada trots down to first with a walk. Now up the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doktoroff. Shows bunt, pulls back, strike 1. Doktoroff, his last time up, popped out to second. That one low. Sawada thought about it, but decided to go back to the bag as Bianchi snagged that nicely off the dirt. Doktoroff 0 for 3 today with a run scored as he takes high ball 2. He has grounded out, popped out, and reached on an error. Now staring down a 2-1 count as they throw back to first to check on Sawada. That one in there, strike 2. With a 2-strike count, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Sawada take off for second on this pitch. There he goes, and Doktoroff fouls it off. Stays alive at 2-2. Now again, I wouldn't be surprised if Sawada takes off for second, but now that the pitcher is aware of him, he's got to be careful and look out for a potential throwback to first. Catches the inside corner, strike 3. Doktoroff goes down looking. And we move to the bottom of the 5th. Still tied at 5. And let's see who Brookline has brought out on the mound, because it looks like we have a relief. No, we don't. They're sticking with Nico Hart into the bottom of the 5th inning as he gets ready to face the 4, 5, 6 hitters, Byrne, Bianchi, and Schultz. Boy, how often do you see a pitcher give up 5 earned runs in 1 inning and not only stay out for the next inning, but then stay out for the inning after that while in the midst of a tie ball game? So gutsy. You can't help but admire the gumption. First pitch to Jack Byrne in there, strike 1. Fouls it off his own foot, strike 2. Byrne 0 for 0 so far today with 2 walks. Now staring down an 0-2 count. That one skips in the dirt, ball 1. Fouls that one off. Stays alive at 1-2. Was a little out in front of that one. Byrne rips one out to right center. And that's going to go all the way to the wall. Jack Byrne racing down to second. And he's going to hold at second with a leadoff double. And this might be the end of the night for Nico Hart. You know, like I said, give the young man credit for how long he has stuck in this game after how hard Natick was hitting the ball in that third inning. But that is where it will end. The leadoff double from Jack Byrne knocks Nico Hart off the mound. Now taking over on the mound for Brookline, number 24, Sasho Ish. You can see we have Ish's stats from last year. He only made one relief appearance on the mound last year, pitched just 1 inning, and gave up 1 earned run in that inning. So not a lot to his stats from last year, but this isn't his first appearance. So Hart lasts 4+ innings, leaves potentially with a no decision, but if Jack Byrne is brought in to score, then Hart would be on the hook for the pitching loss. So once again, the PA announcer making me wonder if I got the pronunciation right. He is pronouncing it Sasho Esh. Of course, I was saying Ish. So again, if anyone knows for sure the correct pronunciation, please let me know in the live chat. At the plate for Natick, the catcher, number 17, James Bianchi. Oops. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1, as I forgot to reset the count after Byrne's double. But it is 0-1, the count to Bianchi. Swing and a miss there, strike 2. Bianchi last time got an RBI single as part of that big 5-run rally in the third. That one is low, ball 1. Reaches out, hits a dribbler up the first base line, and it's just foul as Brendel picks it up. Still a 1-2 count to Bianchi. Hits a grounder over to second. Fielded by Sawada, thrown to first. Out number one, but Byrne does move down to third. So Bianchi does move the runner. Now batting the first baseman, number 18, Matthew Schultz. First pitch slices it foul, strike one. Schultz, his last time up, got an RBI single, drove in Byrne for what is the most recent run scored from either team. Now up once again with Byrne on third, with one out here in the bottom of the fifth. That one hits him. Schultz gets hit in the ankle there. Runners now at the corners with one down. So now batting the pitcher, number 35, Gavin Weddle. First pitch in there, strike one. Lifts this one out to right, drops in, and Byrne is going to come home for the go-ahead score as Weddle collects the go-ahead RBI single. So a sixth earned run that will be credited to the starter Nico Hart, as he is now on the hook for the loss, potentially if there are no lead changes the rest of the way. And runners are now at first and second with one out, as up comes the second baseman, number 13, Kyle Koblenzer. First pitch in there, strike one. Koblenzer 0 for 2 with a pop out and a strikeout. That one hits the zone, strike two. That one low for ball one. That one's going to miss outside, ball two. Two and two, the count to Koblenzer. Swing and a miss. Caught him chasing low, and actually that wasn't Koblenzer, that was a pinch hitter. Number 10, I'll pull up his name in a second. But a big second out get there. Now batting the third baseman, number 8, Cam Gobeil. Slices this one foul. It's possibly playable. Melton tracks it for out number 3. Sasho Ish comes in, and while he can't keep the inherited runner from scoring, he does keep things from getting any worse than that. At the end of 5, Natick takes the lead for the first time today, 6-5. It'll be the 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up for Brookline, Brendel, Siegel, and Hom. Number 10 is Grady Forsland. Koblenzer is still at second, though, so might have been a very temporary pinch-hitting situation there. I'm not sure. Gavin Weddle back on the mound for the Red Hawks. His team now in the lead. And so unless there's a lead change, Weddle would be the pitcher on credit for the win, as he was the pitcher on credit when his team took the lead. But that's all going to depend on these last 2 innings, as it looks like we just dropped a few frames. But hopefully that's just temporary. In the meantime, stepping up to lead off the top of the 6th, the first baseman, number 9, Elias Brendel. First pitch misses, ball 1. Brendel had that big 2-run double back in the 2nd inning. Fouls that one off, strike 1. Aside from that, Brendel flew out to center his last time up all the way back in the 3rd inning. Doubled in the 2nd, was hit by pitch in the 1st. Now lifts one out to left center, being tracked. And the outfielders collide, but do hang on to the ball. Despite the miscommunication, Byrne does make the catch for out number 1. Now batting the center fielder, number 14, Harrison Siegel. First pitch high, ball 1. Siegel 0 for 1 so far today with a walk and a hit by pitch and a fly out to center. And 1 run scored as he lifts this one out to right. Right fielder going back, tracking it, and he's got it for out number 2. So 2 high fly balls, but a little too high and perhaps not enough fly. 2 down now with the bases empty. Up comes the shortstop, number 13, Felix Hom. First pitch in there, strike 1. Hom so far today, 1 for 2. An RBI single, a reach on, error, and a walk as he takes that one low for ball 1. That one is high for ball 2. And here's a hard grounder over to short, and it's juggled couldn't be scooped up off the ground by Robert Farr, and Hum is going to reach on the E6. Now batting the catcher, number 17, Avery Melton. Melton 0 for 1 so far today with 2 walks and a strikeout. Has not yet put a ball in play. Takes high ball 1. That one outside, ball 2. 2-0 the count to Melton, 2 down, runner at first. That one outside as well, 3-0 the count to Melton. A free pass here would get the tying run into scoring position for the Warriors. And Melton just takes that one all the way for strike 1. And that is a high ball 4. Melton with his 3rd walk of the day. And we have got a pinch hitter coming up for Brookline. As there's a meeting at the mound, the pinch hitter coming up, number 21, Hugh Bollinger. As he bats in place, I guess, of Sasho Esch. Of course, Bollinger, the hero on Saturday with that walk-off single. Now up with runners at first and second and 2 down. First pitch, hits a hard grounder over to second, fielded, and Koblenzer takes it himself through to first, even though that was the 3rd out, so everyone else knew how many outs there were except the guy who fielded the ball. So a fielder's choice at second ends the top of the 6th. Brookline gets 2 runners on, but can't get a runner across the plate. So Brookline down to their final 3 outs. But first, they've got to hold off Natick one last time. And they're going to bring in another reliever. This is number 15, Owen Hoffman. So Esch finishes with 1 inning pitched. No runs credited to him. 1 inherited runner was allowed to score. And Bollinger will take Hoffman's spot in left field. Oops, I forgot to get rid of the 23 on that one. Ignore the 23. These are now stats for this year. Hoffman has 1 start this year. Was credited with the loss on that one as he started the game against Waltham, pitched 3 innings, and gave up 3 earned runs. I think it was 5 runs total, but only 3 of them earned. A whip of 2.00 and 1 strikeout. So he's going to be hoping for a strong inning of relief here against the top of the Natick order, Farr, Homer, and Weirman. to try and give his team and himself a chance to come back in this one. As next inning, it'll be the 8-9-1 hitters, Mazzara, Hoffman himself, and Sawada stepping up to the plate for Brookline's last chance. So leading off for the Red Hawks, the shortstop, number 2, Robert Farr. First pitch over Farr's head for ball 1. Farr, his last time up, singled, got to second on a wild pitch, but was left stranded. Takes that one inside, ball 2. He's had a strong day at the plate so far, I believe 2 for 3, as he also had that RBI double in the third and later came in to score himself. That one is a low, ball 3. Hoffman having a tough time finding the zone to start this relief appearance. That one down Broadway, strike 1. That one in the zone as well. I think Farr thought he had a walk for a second, but instead he's got a full count, 3-2. This one fouled off, and Farr stays alive with a full count. That one misses high and in, ball 4. So Farr leads off with a free pass. Now up the right fielder, number 21, Braden Homer. Homer, his last time up, went down on strikes. 1 for 3 so far, with a run scored, an RBI, and 2 strikeouts as he takes strike 1 there. Pickoff throw. That one was close. Briefly caught Farr leaning his weight towards second, but Farr able to react and dive back to the bag. This one skied into shallow left. Caught by Bollinger for out number 1. Now up is the Natick left fielder, number 15, Jack Weirman. Weirman 1 for 3 himself with a double, a run, an RBI, a ground out, and a strikeout. First pitch misses, ball 1. That one catches him inside, ball 2. That one catches the high corner, strike 1. 2-1 the count, 1 out. Farr stands at first. 6-5 the Natick lead. That one in there, strike 2. Pickoff throw, and again, Farr able to dive back safely. This one sliced foul and out of play. That one is high, really got away from him that time, ball 3. Runner taking off, strike 3. They let Farr take second on the steal, but a big second out get on the payoff pitch by Hoffman. Now up the center fielder, number 14, Jack Byrne. Byrne, of course, scored the go-ahead run back in the 5th after getting a leadoff double. First pitch misses, ball 1. That one way high, ball 2. That felt like another pitch that just slipped out of his hand. Late into the game. And it looks like Brookline has decided to give an intentional walk to Jack Byrne. And so instead it'll be runners at first and second for the catcher, number 17, James Bianchi. Brookline trying to create a force at all the bases except home. Swing and a miss, strike 1 to Bianchi. So I believe that'll go as Byrne's 3rd walk today. This one's a high chopper over to third, fielded by Doctoroff. Takes third base himself for out number 3. So Natick gets a runner to second, but cannot add to their lead. And it all comes down to this. 7th inning time. Brookline's last chance to try and tie or take the lead. Weddle returns to the mound for one last inning of relief work. He's pitched 3 shutout innings so far. Not unlike a certain Mr. Bollinger we saw on Saturday. It's been an eerily similar comeback for Natick. Whereas Brookline came back from a 4-0 deficit on Saturday to take the 5-4 win. This time, Brookline took a 5-0 lead and now trails 6-5. It'll be Mazzara, Hoffman, and Sawada representing the last hopes for the Brookline offense. Gavin Weddle, who scored his team's first run in that big third inning rally, drove in the go-ahead run in the fifth, and has been going strong on the mound with 3 shutout innings of work. He's going to be trying to finish the job here. Leading off for Brookline, the designated hitter, number 23, Jonathan Mazzara. Mazzara so far today 1 for 3 with a steal and a run scored. As he takes one low for ball 1. Another one low, ball 2. Mazzara hits a dribbler foul up the third base line. I mentioned how Weddle scored the first run of Natick's 5-run rally in the third. It was Mazzara who started off Brookline's big 4-run rally in the second, as he led off with a single and later came in to score. Mazzara hits a hard one over to short, gets past far into left field, and Mazzara is on first, reaching on the E6. Now batting the pitcher, number 15, Owen Hoffman. And we got a pinch runner for Brookline, number 19, Devin Chin. So a pinch runner representing the potential tying run at first. Hoffman tries to bunt and slices it foul and out of play. Hoffman, his last time up, grounded out to short. Before that, lined out to short. And before that, struck out. So 0 for 3 so far, and fails to bunt again. 0-2 after 2 foul bunts. And he's going to have to swing away now. Not how Brookline was hoping that would go. Throw back to first, and Chin dives back safely. Chin has only attempted 1 steal so far this year, and that was against Waltham, and he got caught. And Hoffman still showing bunt with an 0-2 count, but he pulls back and takes ball 1. Gutsy decision from Brookline to still show bunt with a 2-strike count. Now Hoffman swings, rips it out to left center on a hit and run. Chin racing down to third as the center fielder struggled to grab it. And it's runners at first and third now off a big single from Owen Hoffman. Now with a chance to tie things up. The tying run at third. The go-ahead run at first. Up comes the second baseman, number 5, Keenan Sawada. Sawada 1 for 3 so far. A single, a steal, a walk, and 2 flyouts. First pitch high, ball 1. You can see Hoffman taking a big lead off from first. Good chance he takes second with a runner at third. That one catches the high inside corner, strike 1. Hoffman takes off. Sawada takes strike 1, and Hoffman takes second. No resistance. One and two, the count now to Sawada. Catches the inside corner, strike 3. One out now. Up comes the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doctoroff. With runners at second and third, a base hit could give Brookline the lead. First pitch high, ball 1. Doctoroff, his last time up, struck out to end the 5th. Slices that one foul, strike 1. Doctoroff has also popped out to second, reached on an error and scored a run, and grounded out to third. So 0 for 4 with a run so far today for Doctoroff. And he laces one out to center. That's going to drop in. 1 run in for Brookline. This ball game is tied. Hoffman holds it third. Doctoroff down to second on the throw. We are not done here at Mahan Field. Ben Doctoroff, his first hit of the day, and he drives in the tying run. And an intentional walk is issued to Brendel to create a force at the bases. And with the bases loaded and 1 out, up comes the center fielder, number 14, Harrison Siegel. And again, I don't think a single one of the runs allowed so far by the Natick pitchers have been earned, as Mazzara initially reached on an E6. But the runs count on the scoreboard the same either way. Siegel stepping in now, bases juiced, 1 out. First pitch, and he laces it out to right. Brookline takes the lead. 1 run is in. Harrison Siegel delivers. Let's see if we can catch the replay of this one. As Siegel drives in Hoffman. Great contact right through the right gap. Now batting the shortstop, number 13, Felix Hom. First one hits the outside corner, strike 1. 7-6, Brookline leads here in the top of the 7th. Big swing and a miss there from Hom, strike 2. And that's a high ball 1. One and two, the count to Felix Hom. Bases loaded, 1 out. Brookline now in the driver's seat, leading 7-6. Hom lifts it out to right center. That's going to drop in the gap. That's going to bring in at least one. The runners were holding. It's just a one-run single, but it's another RBI for Felix Hom. A big insurance run get as Doctoroff trots home from third. Still one out, bases still loaded. Now up, the catcher number 17, Avery Melton. First pitch high, ball one. So again, Felix Hom has played 2 games on Monday this season. Both of those games he's gotten 2 RBI. I love the cosmic coincidences as Melton takes a high ball 2. Gosh, I hope we didn't drop too many frames during some of this this huge 7th inning. Melton swing and a miss, strike 1. You know, I'm really gonna go back and look either tonight or tomorrow and see if any of the highlight-worthy plays were cut off. As Melton rips one into right center again. Another run coming home. Wheeling around third is Siegel. 2 runs in off the single from Avery Melton. Brookline exploding here in the 7th. Brendel and Siegel both score off the hit from Melton. Runners now at the corners, still 1 down. And now batting, the left fielder, number 21, Hugh Bollinger. Bollinger hits one, diving grab at second. They say he caught it on the ground, so it's a fielder's choice. It was a nice diving grab by Koblenzer, but they say he trapped it. And so that'll simply go down as a 4-6 fielder's choice. We cycle back around to the man who started it all, the designated hitter, number 23, Jonathan Mazzara. When this guy reaches base to lead off an inning, the Brookline offense explodes. His leadoff single in the 2nd sparked a 4-run rally. His reach on error to lead off this inning sparked a 5-run rally. Now up with runners at the corners, 2 down. Slices it foul. Bollinger at first. Hom at third. 0-1 the count to Mazzara. Bollinger takes off for second, and they just throw right back to the pitcher. The pitch itself was strike 2 to Mazzara. Bollinger allowed to take second. 0-2 the count. And swing and a miss. The inning comes to an end, but the Brookline Warriors now with a chance to claim victory. They have flipped the script right on its head. From a big comeback by Natick to now a huge 7th inning rally for the Warriors. The 2nd straight game with a 7th inning go-ahead rally for Brookline. And now the shoe is on the other foot as Natick is now down to their final 3 outs. But they have to make up 4 runs as Brookline exploded for 5. Move to the bottom of the 7th. It'll be Schultz, Weddle, and Koblenzer The last chance for Natick. Owen Hoffman back on the mound. If there is no lead change, he will be the pitcher credited with the win. And Weddle would be the one credited with the loss. Oh, no, stop. More problems with the Wi-Fi, please. My deepest apologies for the Wi-Fi issues we've been dealing with intermittently throughout the night. You know, like I said, I am recording this while live streaming it. So if any big plays were cut out by the faulty connection, I will be able to upload a fully recorded version. Brookline going to have a reliever warm up in the bullpen just in case, as Hoffman takes the mound to try and finish the job here in the 7th. Leading off, the first baseman, number 18, Matthew Schultz. Schultz lifts the first pitch, staying in the infield and caught just on the outfield grass by Sawada for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. Now up the pitcher, number 35, Gavin Weddle. And Weddle lifts one deep out to center. Siegel going back, and he's got it for out number 2. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Natick down to their last chance. Boy, whenever we've seen a ball get ripped that hard to the outfield, it's never been within the range of an outfielder, but that time it was. So we got a pinch hitter for Natick, number 11, as he swings and misses for strike 1. Alexander Jakes is the way the Natick PA announcer said it. And he laces a liner. Caught! Brendel with the hops to end it. Brookline wins. The final score here at Mahan Field, the Brookline Warriors 10, the Natick Redhawks 6. I told you guys, when Brookline and Natick face off, it's going to be a show. Was I wrong? I don't think I was. What an amazing game this one was. The back and forth, the ups and downs and arounds throughout this contest. What a thriller. Before I give a brief wrap-up to the game, just a reminder, if you ended up enjoying this live stream, you know, even with some of the spotty Wi-Fi here and there, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. Brookline back in action on Wednesday at home against the Rockets of Needham High School. Be sure to stay tuned for that game and plenty more. Subscribing to the channel can help. Thank you to all those who brought the good vibes in the live chat today. As we got a couple last notes in the live chat. First from Jim Wilson. The lacrosse parents are watching from across the street at halftime. Go Warriors. I love it. From Yuli Burstein, it's good. Stream is great. Thank you, Yuli. I appreciate the reassurance. And from Barbara Joe Metzger, yeah, Brookline. And yes, you were right, Jesse. What a show it was. So thank you to all those who provided the good vibes in the live chat today. Remember, if there's anything you'd like to say after the live stream is concluded, you can say it in the comment section down below. You can also go down to the description section down below where you can see some helpful links. First, a link to the official PayPal account for the At Bat for Brookline Booster Club if you would like to support this program financially. Then below that, a couple of links relating to our local charity Spotlight, Brookline Cares, if you would like to support their cause to help raise funds and awareness to support those struggling with homelessness in our community. And then lastly, some links related to me, which you can also see on the bottom right corner of your screen. My personal website, jessesports.com. Find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. Or you can skip past all that and just email me with any questions or requests you may have. And remember to follow me on Instagram, where I post highlights from previous live streams and the stream links for upcoming live streams. And now to recap the action that took place during this live stream, because what a game it was. And for once, the weather is not so cold that I'm just in a hurry to pack up my stuff and go. Top of the first, Brookline moneyballed their way to a run off of a 2-out rally consisting of a hit by pitch, a walk, a reach on an E5, and then a bases-loaded walk by Avery Melton to drive in Elias Brendel for the game's first run. Nico Hart put the Natick batters down in order in the bottom of the first. Then in the top of the second, making his varsity debut, Jonathan Mazzara kicked off what would be a 4-run rally for Brookline. He got a leadoff single, stole second. Ben Doctoroff reached on an E5 with 2 outs, and then Elias Brendel launched a 2-run double out to left center to drive in Mazzara and Doctoroff. Advanced to third on a wild pitch. Harrison Siegel reached on a hit by pitch, then Felix Hom with an RBI single to drive in Brendel. Melton another walk to load the bases, and then Nico Hart with an RBI single to drive in Siegel and make it a 5-0 Brookline lead. In the bottom of the second, a double play and a strikeout ended that inning quick. Top of the third, Brookline got a runner to second but couldn't get any runs in. And then in the bottom of the third, Natick showed that this was not going to be a blowout. This was going to be a fight. With 2 outs and a runner on first off a leadoff hit by pitch by Gavin Weddle, it was a 2-out double by Robert Farr that really kicked things into gear as he drove in Weddle. Then Braden Homer had a 2-out single to drive in Farr. Then Jack Weirman with another double to drive in Homer. Then Jack Byrne got a walk to put 2 runners on, and then James Bianchi and Matthew Schultz got back-to-back RBI singles to drive in Weirman and Byrne, and just like that, Natick had tied it up at 5 apiece. In the top of the fourth, Brookline got 1 runner on but couldn't advance. In the bottom of the fourth, despite that tough 5-run third inning, Brookline stuck with their starting pitcher, Nico Hart, and despite allowing runners to get to second and third with just 1 out, back-to-back strikeouts kept Natick off the board and kept the game tied. In the top of the fifth, again, Brookline got 1 runner on but couldn't advance any further. Bottom of the fifth, a leadoff double by Jack Byrne pulled Hart off the mound, replaced by Sasho Esch. And while Esch did allow that inherited runner to score on a single by Gavin Weddle that gave Natick the lead, there was nothing more than that. That single by Weddle did make it a 6-5 game. And then with the score 6-5, again, Brookline was able to get a couple of runners on in the top of the sixth, but couldn't advance any further. Bottom of the sixth, and it was Owen Hoffman who took over on the mound for Esch. And despite allowing 2 runners to reach base, 1 on an intentional walk, They did not allow he did not allow any runners to score, so it was still a one-run game going into the top of the 7th, where things really got fun for Brookline. Once again, it was Jonathan Mazzara in his varsity debut getting the rally started, this time off a reach on error as his grounder just slid past the shortstop. Devin Chin came in to pinch run for Mazzara, and then Hoffman added to his own cause with a single on a hit and run that moved Chin to third. Then he stole second. Then 2 batters later, it was Ben Doctoroff coming in with the game-tying single to drive in Chin, tie it up at 6. Then after an intentional walk was issued to Elias Brendel to load the bases, Harrison Siegel with an RBI single for the go-ahead run. And then 2 more singles back-to-back from Felix Hom and Avery Melton drove in 3 more insurance runs as Brookline went up 10-6, and then Hoffman shut the door with a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 7th to end the game. Your final score, Brookline 10, Natick 6. From Mahan Field in Natick, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.